maybe things can go. And frequently they'll say, hey, that sounds great. Or sometimes they'll say, nope, I want it the way I said it. And if, somebody says that then that's it, that's happening.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever put your foot down?
Not that I can recall. I mean, it's not my song to do that. A classic example I use is, let's say an artist says, I would love to get 100% reverb on this kick. And let's make it an 8-second, decay. Right. Just something that's so blatantly, obviously something that would be a bad idea. Right.
Yeah.
So I might say, okay, that sounds interesting, but if you're looking for a larger kick sound, maybe we can introduce stomps, or maybe I can leave the kick as it is, but also put an element that makes it sound like the kick has reverb on it, or something like that. Just discuss different options of try to figure out not what the artist is specifically asking for, because sometimes, there's a mismatch between the words and between their idea, and which is totally understandable. It's not their job to know the production side. That's my job.
Right.
So then
I love that. I love what you're saying. It's that's a great way to have an open-minded conversation.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So, as a producer, I'm the one who trained to get the technical knowledge so that you don't need that, right? So if you're hiring me as a producer and I'm just listening to what you think technically should be done, when I disagree and I don't offer my input, then why am I here? Just come in and take my studio.
You just need to kind of, decode what they're saying into practical terms that would work.
For sure. For sure. And if they, say, hey, no, this is what I want, then it's their song and they deserve that.
Totally. Most of us tend to fluctuate between high and low levels of creativity. Do you do anything specific when you need to get inspired?
I think the need to create is the inspiration enough, because I don't have time to not be creatively outputting, if that makes sense. Because if somebody's got a song that they need to put out and that's what I've got on, my plate for the day, then it's got to get done. And it doesn't matter how creative I'm feeling or not feeling. You have to learn to put yourself in that zone so that you can make sure you get the work done.
Yeah. Sounds like you have that New York hustle mentality. That it's hard to escape if you're from New York. If you're from New York
here, everyone's working, everyone's moving. It's a very happening place, and it's a big juxtaposition for me from coming from Miami, where it's just super chill vibes. And New York is kind of just hey,
Seriously. Okay. And do you have any go-to session musicians when needed?
Oh, 100%. I have a classic team of guys who I turn to when I need stuff done. I actually recently made a partnership with a mixing mastering engineer, even though I am a mixing mastering engineer and I still offer mixing and mastering to people that I work with. I feel that it's my job to provide the best songs possible to the artists I'm working with. And I felt that I can create better songs if I wasn't the one doing the mixing and mastering on projects that I'm producing, so that I could bring a second set of ears on and somebody to take a look at the session and just bring their input onto the song and impart their creative process. So I partnered with Sir Seth Munson, who is a tremendous mixing mastering engineer, somebody who I really respect for his work and for the person who he is. So that is something that I'm really happy to be working with now, that he is somebody who's mixing and mastering all my productions for artists that I'm working with now. And I definitely have my classic go-to guys that I'm pulling on for projects. I've got Clay Agnew, who is an amazing vocalist, who's a session vocalist who I'm bringing on for doing background vocals and frequently vocal editing for songs. And David Fuller, who is a Berklee alumnus, who is an awesome guitarist and somebody who I use for reamping a lot, because he's just got a crazy collection of amps, and he mods them himself and is really great at dialing in sweet tones. To me, amp simulations is the one thing that software hasn't entirely figured out yet. I think that the overloud THU stuff sounds great, and it's possible that I'll start using that more in my workflow. For now, I'm using it more as a creative tool and throwing it on random stuff like piano or synths or whatever. But
interesting.
I've heard amazing stuff about the STL tones a lot of guitarist friends I have say that that's the most realistic amp sims they've seen. But so I'm usually heading to him for reamping and writing. I have several people that I'll turn to. And I definitely have like a team of guys around me who are just really great people who help me be able to bring the best music I can to the artists I work with. You know, if there's something that I can bring on somebody else to make sure the project turns out better, then I consider it my job to make sure that that happens.
Amazing. Is there anything you do specifically in your productions that you think gives you a trademark sound?
You know, I feel that trademark sounds are something that's unintentional. I feel that trademark sounds happen as a result of you being you.
Yeah.
I definitely have people tell me that I have a sound, which I think is cool because I work on a very large variety of styles, you know, from acoustic singer-songwriter to like metal-inspired dubstep. So to hear that there's some sort of common denominator between my projects is neat to me. I don't know what it is. People tell me I have that, and I think that's how it should work. I don't think that your sound should be intentional. I think it should be something you impart just because you're you and you're working on it.
Yeah, I had the exact same conversation with the last guy I interviewed. He said, people tell me I have a sound and I don't know what it is.
I think that's something that's probably pretty common amongst creatives because you want to do what's best for that project. You're not trying to,
impart.
Yeah, you're not trying to force any specific techniques in there, but your sound is a combination of all the techniques that you use and all the thoughts that you have and your musical influences, and it's naturally going to be imparted into your projects.
Totally. Is there any message that you'd want to tell the listeners? Any advice or any inspiration?
Sure. My first productions sucked. Like, were awful. Like, indescribably awful. And whenever I hear somebody telling me, like, oh, I just can't do this, or I just don't have it, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not talented enough, or something like that, I play a little game with them where I'll say, you know what, like, yeah, like, some people just don't have it. And I'll say, like, listen to this demo I got from somebody, and I just don't have the heart to tell them that they'll never make it. And I send them one of the first songs that I made, and they'll hear it and go, like, man, like, this is awful. Like, this guy is just totally talentless. Like, yeah, like, you're in a tough position there, you know? And some people will be like, I don't know, like, yeah, like, this is awful. Maybe with a lot of work he could get good. Like, I don't know. But, like, yeah, like, across the board, everyone agrees, like, yeah, this is really bad. And I'll tell them, like, you know, I made that. That was one of my first songs. And can you imagine if I quit producing because of all the people that walked up to me and said, you know, this sucks? And I think to me, that's just something that really shows just that you have to trust the process and work really hard and put in the effort to get good at something, at anything. And it's very easy to think that, like, I initially thought, hey, I'm just going to go and pick up a $50 audio editor and I'm going to hit the guitar button and I'm going to be the new Mike Tompkins. And that's just not how the world works with anything that's worth doing.
But here you are.
Yeah. And, you know, this is my career now, and people come to me trusting me with their music, and I'm thankful for that every day because it's like an honor to me, and it's shocking to me that people, you know, trust me with something so personal as their own music, that they want me, and me specifically, to be working on that with them. That's something that's a real honor for me.
What's next for you, man? What's next for Mo?
What's next for Mo? I do want to get into plugin development, actually, is something I'm looking into.
Interesting.
And for my vision for myself as a producer, I really just want to be doing the same kind of stuff I'm doing now, just on a larger scale. But just to be working with cool people on fun projects and being able to provide, you know, the production and the basis for their artistry, and to be able to help them to succeed.
Amazing. Where can people find more information about you?
So I'm online at moackerman.com. That's Mo without an E, MOACKERMAN.com. If anybody has any questions on anything we discussed, you know, please feel free to hit me up either at Facebook or Instagram on Mo Ackerman, or at my email, which is info@moackerman.com.
And if you're ever on the Facebook groups Make Pop Music or Slate Audiophiles, you'll be sure to see him a lot, which is a good thing.
I lurk around. I'm actually a moderator of the Make Pop Music group, which is really a tremendous Facebook group with over 20,000 creatives in it, and I definitely recommend to anybody who's working in music to get involved in there and to see some of the amazing back and forths that occur.
Yeah, excellent, dude. Mo, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Thank you so
for
much.
your time and your insights.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Secret Sonics. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Mo as much as I did. If you've been enjoying the show, I would really appreciate it if you would go over to Apple Podcasts and rate and review us. It really helps the show move forward. In addition, we're on social media. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for Secret Sonics. And our website is secretsonics.co, where you can find all of our episodes and links to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast app. I've mentioned this on every episode. I'd love to hear your feedback and things you want to hear about and people you want to hear from. You can email me at secretsonics@gmail.com. That wraps it up for now. So until next time, I hope you guys have a great week and dig in.